Ervina Halili is a surrealist poet from Kosovo, a child of the Yugoslav Wars of the 1990s. She wrote her first poem, Crowd 97, at age 11, amid political upheaval and mass protest in which students and professors called for the restoration of Albanian-language education under an increasingly repressive regime. Her third book, Amulet, 2015, following Vinidra, 2004, and, I say it in English, Rose of Silence, 2008, was awarded the country's prestigious Ali Podrimja Literary Prize for Best Work of Poetry in 2015. Ervina is the founder of a virtual archive museum that features journalists' contribution to the influential Kosovo Albanian newspaper Rilindja, which started in 1945 and ended in 1991. Her book, Octopus Slumber, written in 2016, or rather published in 2016, was translated into German in a bilingual edition, and her most recent book, Not My Eyes, a Sufi philosophy poetry book, was published in 2022 in Tirana. She's the laureate of the Democracy Award for 2021 by Kosovar Civil Society Foundation for conserving and saving the archive of one of the biggest social enterprises in Yugoslavia.
Thank you so much, Sophie, for the introduction. I will be reading two very different texts today. One is from my book, Not My Eyes, which is not yet published in English, but soon. And it is dedicated to feminine principle, and it is motivated by Sufi mysticism. And the other text I'm going to read is a book I'm working on. It's a book about the relation between the mountain and the human being. It's a bit metaphysical text, so I hope I will not bother you. I was asked to read my first text also in my language, so I'm going to read only a part of it in my language, just to have the sense, since I write in a very old dialect. So, Nana. Kockat e mia mbajnë qumshtin e nanës si me plogzez, dhe zemra ime mban mitrën e saj në gjit. Ajo thuhet se dëshiron me mlind vetën rishtazi në zemrën time të vogël rrifitos. Ajo thuhet se kërkon me lind vetën e pastaj mua, e më thret të bahem 7 palë sy hapun që ngjiten lart vandale sudisin. Se si nana rri pezull mes dy botësh që ndajnë zemrën time në dysh. Në njëre nana përsjell njerëzit në ikje, që të gëzuem qeshin e të pikluem presin shpinën e një kali me flatra të prarueme në arë. Në tjetrën nana shpreh frymën në ardhje, edhe mua edhe vetën e saj të ardhë, përsëri të ardhë. Okay. Mother. Bones be my black-haired mother's milk, and my heart holds her womb in my chest. As if she wants to be born again in my little heart, fetus, she stares. As if she wants to give birth to herself and then me, and calls me to be 7 open pairs of eyes that climbs up unceasingly and gazes. How mother floats between worlds that divide my heart in half. On one, mother sees of people who happily smile or sorrow await the back of a horse with wings gilded in gold. On the other, mother sees souls coming, and me, and herself coming, again coming. Mother comes as a little baby, and I breastfeed her. With beaming eyes she looks at me and smiles under her freckles on white cheeks, not used to the touch of the sun and rain in daylight moon. Mother starts telling me something, but she can't talk. She only wraps her little hands around my neck because mother is afraid of me leaving her alone amidst things and space filled with fragrance and particles of light that stir her, and mother cries not to leave her alone in this place with no names. Mother stares, as a bride on a throne of clouds, stars, milk, dripping light. We turn into giants, touching the sky with a finger, and the earth with cracked heels from wandering. Only Mother doesn't touch the earth nor sky, only milk drips from Mother's breast. We open our mouths under the stream, we satiate with heaven flames in our hearts, and iron blood flows in our bodies, makes us forget about ourselves on those 7 skies where Mother stares, like a white bride with a veil on the eye. Mother goes, and no one unveil her graceful veil, no one looking at her eyes. Mother sleeps only in the heart that guards the milk, like a gentle flower breeze in the lungs. From soul to soul, Mother stares in the veins, nor like a fetus anymore, nor like a child, nor like a bride anymore, nor like a milk. Only like longing for the unreachable that doesn't have a smell, a sound or shape, and yet bursts like flame in the chest. Thank you. Since the dawn of time. I don't know, this is out of the context maybe, but let's read it. There is a spark magic between the eye and the body. When the body feels the eye's magic, it is drawn back to the astral recollection of peace from which it too comes. The eye yet bears in its memory the beginning of the beginning, as if it had been the same eye ever since the beginning of times. The eye sees even in darkness when the mind cannot trace the contours of what is seen. The eye sees nonetheless because the eye remembers even the darkness of times. When the eye sees the mountain, the eye sees its own self and the body no longer exists. When the eye sees the mountain, the eye remembers the day the mountain was conceived, which was the day the eye was conceived. The mountain was created to be seen by the eye, and the eye was created to see the mountain, yet the mountain and the eye are not twain. The body feels its connection to creation by means of the eye when it sees the mountain. The body realizes how far distant had come from conception, while the mountain remains there silent. The body feels a deep joy at seeing the beginning of its beginning, and a tremulous nostalgia at being so far distant. Mankind grows every day more distant from the beginning of times, while the mountain remains since at the beginning of times, as every day. When the man climbs the mountain, it enters the imaginary world of the self and believes that it is conquering the mountain. But what one feels is merely the sleeping power of the body, which is stirred as soon as it encounters the memory of the beginning of times. The body remembers its first cell and the longing of being parted from it. And the body thrills that it fills with the dopamine of the beginning of reacquaintance, but man forgets, and again the mountain remembers. But the man and the mountain are two of a kind. Oh, so many enlightened orbs are there between the word and the body. When the body listens to the word, it awakens millions of fine particles that we forget we carry in the liquids we bear, as we forget we are water ourselves. When the liquid has completely evaporated, as clouds gather at the peak and gurgle like white rivers with no chance of falling like rain on the soil of our body, we also evaporate. And who knows where we fall anew, on what soil, on what sea. Perhaps dry sandy desert land awaits us, where it hasn't rained in ages. Perhaps we fall like crystals in a lonely mountain gorge, perhaps like dew in echoing pine woods, perhaps in the plasma of a baby who has just broken from the waters to look at the sun. We never know where we fall, but somewhere the silent fine particles of our liquids know we are from the same rain, blood and milk. With no age since the dawn of time, we fall and we climb again and again. The man hovers between knowing and darkness, while for the mountain the darkness is knowing, and it remains in its entirety without concerning over it. The river flows underneath the spring that bursts at the peak, like a wild love passion, and purses descent into the sea, where the height touches the bottom and seeks to crawl into the dark blue. Man has forgotten the soul of the river and sees only the body of the flow on the stones. At a time when no man was a teacher, the man had the river as the master of his soul, and he would face the mountain, see the master of his master, and kneel down. After he knelt down, the mountain would speak to him and call him to become a river and flow from his heart. Again, the mountain, the man, and the river are not three. Thank you.
Wow.